Hello everyone, my name is Lana and welcome to the next episode of the testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith. Hopefully it's gonna be the last one. I think that we are getting closer to, well, the end of the history. So, without any further ado, let's just continue where we left off. That night, I dreamt of the basement on Daffodil Lane. I was crumpled on the floor, blood stained the floor in my side and covered my hands. Through blurry eyes, I could make out Nikita. She was saying something to me, but her voice was too muffled and distorted to make out. She seemed smug, so no change there. After a seemingly endless monologue, she threw her hands skywards, and with a flash of white light and a splash of cold cloud spray, a white gate opened at the far end of the room. The white gate to Carcosa. I shivered as the chill rolled out of the lake alley. After giving me a last pitiful look, Nikita stepped through the gate, leaving me alone in the cold basement. For a moment nothing happened. A strange calm came over me. This wonderful solitude was cut short. For from the white gate emerged the clothed visage of the king in yellow. Their tattered rags billowed in the increasing wind, floating like the tentacles of some terrible deep-sea creature. They started ahead, before peering down at me with a slow turn of their head, looking right at me, right into me. I blacked out, and when I awoke, I found myself elsewhere. Me and Heidi were hiding in her shop. I wasn't sure why at first, but as I peeked above at one of the displays, I saw objects shift and move around the room. A golden mist surrounding them. On the floor lay what seemed to be the clothed corpse. It took me a moment to recognize the shape of the masked figure. I ducked as a wrench was tossed through the air towards me by the malevolent force that had taken over the shop. I went to say something to Heidi, but before I could open my mouth, she was yanked from her hiding place by some unseen hand and pulled into the shop. I yelled and foolishly ran out of my hiding place, straight into the masked figure. I turned and ran. The figure took chase. I could hear them crash through the shop behind me. I yelled. My foot tripped on a pile of crowbars. I fell to the floor with a horrible crunch as the figure's dark shadow bore over me. I plunged back into consciousness and awoke, screaming and shaking. My eyes darted around my room. I was alone. Everything was as it should be. So, with this intro, I guess we are also going crazy. I don't know really what the reason is. Is the plague really cursed? Is there really an alternate universe? Or are we just, going nuts? That might be the case. I mean, sleep deprived, well, person who spends all the time in their room, lonely, lost, probably with depression, some anxiety disorder. I guess we are going mentally downhill, yeah? I was as exhausted as ever. It was my life now. After last night's dream, I was more intent than ever to simply let my problems slip from my mind. I was about to message Heidi, but remembered she would probably prefer I called her so she could yell at me if she felt like it. Sup, Trixie? Hey, I was wondering if you wanted me to come down today and give you a hand. You're burning stuff, right? I like burning things a lot, so I'm definitely qualified for that role. Haha, sorry to disappoint you, little Miss Arsonist, but I'm putting off Eclipse contingency for a day. I've got a court appearance to deal with the whole arson threat thing I did. Which I guess makes me Little Miss Arsonist. Don't tell anyone I called myself Little Miss. I have a taser. Oh no, that's a pain. Well, have fun with that, I guess. Will do. You take care, okay? Okay, bye. Oh. She hung up early again. I sighed. With nothing to distract me, there was nothing else for it. I'd have to face up to Nikita. Right in cue, there was a knock at my door. Trixie Glimmer Smith, open up! I gulped. Just what I needed. Can't you pretend you're not here, you're not in your room or something? Come on. She was talking pretty loud. Maybe she was planning to break in and kill me with whatever weapon she'd gotten hold of today. I knew the knocking would attract unwanted attention if it continued. I couldn't bring more people into this mess. Nikita was my problem to deal with. I opened the door, accepting my fate. Trixie, have you seen my cardigan anywhere? As much as I love to admit it, You've been to Daffodil Lane, haven't you, Nikita? I could tell she had. She kept sniffing as if she was dealing with some allergies. Something seemed to click in her, as if she only just remembered that she had been doing all night. Had she totally forgotten about our fight? Well, you might think but I couldn't possibly command. Huh, you think you're pretty smart, don't you, Trixie? But no, I wasn't there, idiot. Look, Nikita, I'm going to stop you. I won't let you hurt yourself and, more importantly, possibly me. Oh, Trixie, you're far too late for that. I already have the exact position of the intersection between our world and the White Gate. The book, Reaching Other Worlds, was most illuminating. Oh, so was it... I could tell she had. She kept sniffing as if she was dealing with some allergies. Something seemed to click in her, as if she only just remembered what she had been doing all night. Had she totally forgotten about our fight? Well, you might think that, but I couldn't possibly come out. Huh, you think you're pretty smart, don't you, Trixie? But no, I wasn't there. Idiot. Look, Nikita, I'm going to stop you. I won't let you hurt yourself and, more importantly, possibly me. Oh, Trixie, you're far too late for that. I already have the exact position of the intersection between our world and the White Gate. The book Reaching Other Worlds was most illuminating. So was that, well, Nikita, who jumped us in the alley, maybe? The midpoint between the three standing stones in this county. The cottage in Daffodil Lane. I need only bide my time and wait. And then the throne will be mine. Wait, what? Silence, wretch! I have already said too much. Suffice to say, my ideas have been vindicated, while you gulped the ghost hentai aside in the library. Your fate is of your own making, Trixie. Maybe you should just accept that I've won. I will sit on the throne, not you. But I don't want to sit on the throne. Nikita, you're not making sense. Silence! And what is the point of Nikita coming here? I mean, just to shout at us? I mean, what's the motive here? Why? Why are you here? Come on, just give me something to work with. Give me some kind of, idea why would she come here, because right now it doesn't really make any sense. It's just too random. It's so unnecessary. If it doesn't really point anywhere, just to do this Deus Ex Machina, just to keep the story forward, then it's kind of like I put writing here. Silence, silence, silence! You read the king and you read what I have. You know what I speak is gospel. And the throne is mine. She took off. And exactly, what was the point? Her being here. Just to move forward the plot. Okay, I guess. But that's just so lazy writing. Come on. She took off, running back to wherever she came from. Okay, she asked about the cardigan. I'm gonna stop here. She asked about, have you seen my cardigan? But come on, it's such a lame excuse. Really, again, lazy writing. Okay, going forward. Not being hugely athletic, she seemed to run out of breath before the end of the hallway, where she slinked off, panting. At least she had confirmed it. Nikita had a plan. I sighed, realizing it was up to me to stop her. What was it Nikita had said about Daffodil Lane? It sat in the midpoint of the three standing stones. Was that true? It didn't sound at all right. I checked out the map on my wall. The center point of the three standing stones was nowhere near Daffodil Lane. Heck, Daffodil Lane didn't even fall onto the area between them. The midpoint was the lake. Surely someone as smart as Nikita should know that. She was bluffing. She must have been. Or maybe she meant some other standing stones. I didn't bother considering that she might be wrong. She wasn't. She was Nikita. She was smarter than me. She knew what she was talking about. All I could do was try to keep up with her, or give up. I didn't have long. Nikita had said herself that all she needed to do was wait and... Wait on what? I realized I had no idea what she planned to do with this information. She had mentioned the library. Of course Nikita was always in the library, so it was no surprise, but perhaps there was a way to stop her hidden in thousands of books. It might be my only chance. I had to read books. Oh, now you're reading books. What have you done for a couple of years being at university? Nothing? And now you're gonna read books? Oh, well, perfect timing. I rushed straight to the library. There was no time to lose. It always shut early on the weekend. I quickly went through the shelves and thought might be relevant. Myths, local history, literature. I wanted to find the book Nikita had mentioned, Reaching Other Worlds. I've never heard of it before, but it sounded like it would be of use for me too. I guess that's one of the books from the store, right? Go ask Hannah about it. Heidi will know. Reaching Other World was Nikita's aim after all. I found the shelf it should have been and all. There was nothing. Nikita must have come here first and taken it so that I couldn't find out how to stop her. I panicked. If she was actively trying to stop me, there was nothing I could do. Nikita was smarter than me and driven like one possessed by her obsession with that cursed play. My eyes remained locked on the spot the book should have been, and I felt my body grow numb. Was I too late? I could see her even now in my thoughts, the book ablaze, as Nikita continued with her evil plotting. The gnarled hand of the king, guiding her to the decaying burial palace of Carcosa and the broken throne. I realized I was crying. And then I realized I was looking directly at the book. It was 3 places over from where I should have been. It must have been misplaced by an uncaring student or busy librarian. Trembling, I reached for the book and softly caressed its spine. It was real. I took it from the shelf and wiped the tears from my face, ashamed. Glancing at the great clock at the entrance, I realized I had been stood in the same spot for close to an hour. Oh, you're getting crazy too? Okay. So, you are crazy, Nikita's crazy, everybody's crazy in this town. Something was horribly wrong with me. I dropped my collection down and secluded the book desk. Oh my god, something wrong with me, I'm going crazy too. I mean, I can't even read right now. How about this stuff didn't seem all that relevant, but it was better to be true. I thought I'd better skim the books and work out which I had time for before I actually started reading. I wouldn't have time for all of them. I checked the clock. There was about 5 hours left until the librarians would kick me out. I took a look at... what about we finish reading? It's like more in the character. Mr. Slay, Great Crusade, Reaching Other Worlds. I guess we should go with this one. Reaching Other Worlds seemed to be based on the Dark Age grimoire, written by a bird scholar at the tail end of the age. Nikita seemed set on reaching Carcosa. I thought that might help me understand, if that was possible, or how she planned on achieving it. It was short, and it would take an hour to read. Yeah, let's read it. Reaching Other Worlds. Endless words weave and twist through reality, unreality, and the forbidden places between. Only at the points where the strings draw close can one pass through one to the other side. A powerful psychic... I'm really getting bothered by all the typos here. I guess it's also to depict that Trixie is going crazy as well, or is it just lack of editing? I don't know. Or maybe it's supposed to mimic the ancient language, I mean, English has developed a lot from the Dark Ages, so that might be it as well. A powerful psychic beacon is required to pull the 2 words out and intertwine them for long enough for a crossing. Bleakwind Spire is said to be the brightest of these beacons, at least on our world, but in its current ruined state it's useless. The Carrion Crows and the Blackwood of Brandenburg use their own natural psychic influence to shield themselves from the horrors of the Brandenburg succession wars. For the plain walkers of Abanatet, in the ancient times, powerful psychic crystals were most commonly used in pairs. Okay, so probably Tabitha is in danger because she's interested in crystals. Singularly, they could bind the words, but when paired would nullify each other, preventing others from traveling to or from the area. It is said this is how the Court of Despair remained hidden forever in the Cathedral of Thief. I guessed. A librarian shushed me. I knew Nikita wanted to reach Carcosa, but I now realized quite how close she might be. All of these materials were easy to acquire, except for the psychic crystals. But I now knew where Tabby's missing crystal was. Nikita had taken it. I always assumed they were phony Blastoise, but now a second crystal would create dissonance with the first. If I could just get hold of one, I could prevent Nikita's ritual from working. I began hurriedly messaging Tabby. Hey Tabby, you there? Hi Trix. You got a spare psychic crystal? I have bad energies and it might help me. You don't need to end everything with a question mark. Yeah, though, we can borrow one. My energies are balanced right now, and the moon's eye is staying closed for a while, so I don't need to stop it watching me. I can slide under your door if you want. I'm going out for a few days to stargaze on the Isle of Wight and talk to some sheep friends. Okay, so she has some sheep friends. She went to the Vulcan, and actually her last name is Knight, you know, King, Knight, you see? That's a really fun thing to do here with the last name. Yes, please, sorry Tabby, I better get back to work. Thank you so much. Talk to you when you're back? I put my phone away without checking for a response. There was no time right now, but at least I was making some progress. Things didn't seem as hopeless. I checked the clock. There's about 4 hours left until the librarians would kick me out. I took a look at... Oh, let's find about something about the King in Yellow, maybe. Crypts of the South, Rosefield Quarry, Bluff's Lake. Ah, yeah, let's go with this one. A cursed play, a study of the King in Yellow seemed to be a thesis of some kind, but definitely looked relevant. I kinda suck at reading academic text, so I knew it'd probably take 3 hours for me to read, even though it was short. Let's take a look at the because we have 4 hours. So we need to find something that can be read in one. Okay, that would take an hour. And what about the Mysterious Lake? Two hours. What about this one? So, Villenham Notes was a collection of notes written by the infamous Grand Inquisitor, traitor of the Inquisition and supposed author of the original transcript of the King in Yellow. Pretty poor translation of the text was near incomprehensible to begin with, so despite the short length, reading this 3 hours. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go with Villenham Notes and the Crypts of South instead of the study. Okay, read it. It began when I led a small number of the first chapter, the Order of Mercy, at Cursed Chapel outside the Fields Town. In the ensuring fight against the cultists of the Yellow Eye, I was wounded, a pitchfork to my side. I stumbled away from the battle, blood stained my purple robes dark brown, and found myself facing one of the site's many altars, emblazoned on it the yellow sign. As I left consciousness, the yellow sign still staring into me, and I slipped into somewhere dark. When I first saw Carcosa in its rotting state, I knew I had glimpsed an unimaginable terror. I walked the streets of the city for decades, centuries even, from the top of the Imperial Palace to the deepest depths of the Twilight Quarter, where the abominations, long forgotten, crumbled to dust underneath the perpetual darkness of Lake howling. It was a city drenched in evil. When at last I returned to consciousness, I woke in a pile of bodies and presumed dead. I dragged myself away from this terrible place and made my escape to the woods. I would later return with the 4th chapter, the Order of Retribution and Purification, and burn alive each of these cultists. I foolishly believed that this would end the whispers in my head. Still they continued. Dismayed, I returned to my home and inflicted punishment on myself for this heresy. But when the voices remained, I gave in to my weakness and listened. I finally realized what was being whispered to me, and I was filled with a maniac intent to lay it into parchment. The words flowed into my mind and onto the page. For 3 days I wrote without rest, food or breath. When finally the manuscript was completed, I bound it and preserved it in snakeskin, the only remains of that ancient people. I looked upon my work, seeing it with my own eyes for the first time. I had written The King in Yellow. Later, a gift was presented to me. The mask of the Pale Servant, one eye looking out to the future, and the other blinded by the first ruby to be mined from the quarry that would become the Twilight Quarter and forced only to remember the past. Okay, so I'm guessing we need to take the mask from Heidi, because that has the ruby in the eye, right? And that might be the better crystal and the one that Tabitha has to offer? Alright, china-like mask inlaid with gold mined from the great moon of Carcosa. It was terrible to behold, for I knew who had delivered it to me. Whispers from the king, tell me that they possess the mask, are blessed to walk this path and claim the broken throne for themselves. Also, actually, that's an item that Nikita needs for herself. The mask was lost to me, stolen. Mercy on the wretch who finds it. I thought of Heidi's mask. I would need to see it in person again to be sure, but the description was certainly familiar. I checked the clock. There was about 1 hour left until the librarians would kick me out. Okay, so cryptids, let's go with this one. Crypts of the South. Clayton Wimberly, the white-faced eye stabber. A five-faced squirrel with an eternally spinning head. He spits and screams from his many mouth and he tries to stab the left eye of his victim. Though there have been no recorded victims of Clayton, one man claims to have been killed by him but later recovered. A true story? Could be. Despite this, many claim to have seen the scary figure. You better watch your back. Oh my god, that's pretty lame. Old Lady Whitetail. The ghost of a murdered maid, killed by her lover. Her once beautiful orange and brown fur is now white from mourning her own death. She appears in the mirrors of naughty children to give them bad dreams, often is said to be seen in Southport. Her haunted pantry is commonly voted the scariest place in the county. The Antlered Tree, a manifestation of an ancient god. The antlered tree is said to be a deer-like creature, as tall as a pine tree, its head decorated with a batch of sharp antlers, which pierce the sky. Often thought to be a bringer of prosperity and food in hard times, it is a popular figure for worship, even now in some areas. The residents of North Acres, in particular, are known to hold secretive festivals dedicated to this mysterious figure, though rarely the outsiders able to glimpse these ceremonies. Okay, so I'm guessing that if I went with the Belle storyline, this could be like more interesting for me right now because she was like delivering to the North Acres, and probably like the choice of the literature here is relevant to which path we would have taken previously. Mrs. Spronky is fucked up. We don't know what's going on with this guy. That was really great article. The Quiet Figures. Tales of shambling tatty figures have been common throughout the history of the county. These figures are often said to be able to talk only in hushed whispers. Their fur and skin is always described as matted and rubbery, as if they were corpses. The reanimated dead? Who knows? Reports of these figures seem to often coincide with a disappearance, leading many to believe they might be possessed or reanimated bodies of those who go missing. The Forelock. Stalking travelers through the forest, the Forelock is said to be a primitive, immortal prehistoric creature covered in long fur and with a big bushy tail. Some kind of wild mutant squirrel? Maybe. Dangerous? For sure. And the Altered Beast. Supposedly living deep within the bowels of Standing Stone Barrow, the Altered Beast is said to have once been a rat who wished to experience new and horrific pleasures. Oh, that's Trixie! And the Altered Beast because she's transgender, so the Altered Beast and the rat, you know. Supposedly a hulking beast of sinew and bone, the beast's appearance is enough to transfix and terrify any who look upon it. First reported in 2002, the beast was supposedly been seen exiting the barrow by moving its heavy stone door with ease. A brief attempt was made to head into the barrow and discover the beast, but the party had to quit after realizing they had been exploring Fallen Stone Barrow 700 miles north by mistake. The wilted rose water snake. In the 90s, reports started to come in of a strange serpent living in the flooded wilted rose quarry, perhaps an ancient creature uncovered by the R12 borehole, or perhaps merely the tentacles of a far more horrible being. Until we get some photographic evidence, we just won't know. Rereading that wasn't a great idea, it was almost entirely useless and stuff I knew already. I realized I'd run out of time. I quickly put the books away and left. I ended up back in my room. I just needed to sleep. This week was killing me. When was the last time I had slept properly? Like all the time before this story, you were like sleeping and browsing the internet and sleeping? Come on. I walked through my door and almost tripped over something. There was a little velvet bag on the floor. Someone had slid under my door. Oh, great. Has the cat been sneaking anthrax into my room or something? No? It's Tabby? Come on. I nervously picked up the bag and was relieved to feel a hard crystal inside. This must have been Tabby's psychic crystal. Oh, thank you, Tabby. You're a lifesaver. Possibly, literally. I carefully put the crystal into my bag. It might be the only thing that could help me. I was going to have some noodles to eat, but I couldn't get the packet open without scissors thanks to my weak little arms. I remember Nikita had stolen my scissors, putting a stop to my noodle meal. Not her worst crime so far, but probably her most annoying. In the end, I just had to eat crisps. This week was really taking its toll on my diet. I needed time to digest what I had to read. I was too tired to do anything practical to deal with Nikita's tonight. No doubt she was slinking around the university or holed up in her room plotting. Or maybe she's already there, trying to open some kind of portal. That night, there were no dreams. There was only darkness. I woke up as tired as ever and wanted to check the internet for news, convinced I'd find a photograph of disheveled Nikita being bundled into a police van after committing some atrocity in the name of the broken throne. Before I could switch my laptop on, something strange caught my eye. On my bedroom wall was a scribbled pencil drawing of what seemed to be Nikita. Where? I can't see it. Above her, two floating skulls surrounded by a cloud. Had I drawn this? My room didn't look like it had been broken into, and it was my art style. Did I have one? I realized I was getting dangerously unhinged. I had to stop Nikita, only then I could start to recover. Or you should go see a doctor first, like a shrink or something. Just suggesting, you know. Fortunately, it looked like Nikita hadn't been arrested for any terrible crimes. Unfortunately, this meant she was still my problem alone. Yesterday, Nikita had, well, not admitted to being a Daffodil Lane, but was fairly obvious she had been. I was pretty sure she wanted to open a portal to the white gate of Holly in that cursed basement. I needed to know if she had done anything there. Maybe I could find a way to stop her. I ate some sugar flakes and got ready for another long walk to Daffodil Lane. I arrived at Daffodil Lane only to be greeted by a loud call. That mangy magpie again. The call sounded like it came from near the creepy cottage, as if it was calling for me. I tried to spot the magpie, but they were nowhere to be seen. Hi, Trixie! Fuck! I spun around and screamed. Directly behind me, less than half a meter away, stood Parsnip. Oh no, please, no bad words. This is no bully zone. Sorry, Parsnip. You just scared me, is all. I didn't expect you to be stood directly behind me like that. No one ever does. I'm very quiet. I couldn't help but feel slightly creeped out by that. Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be Trixie. I turned around to look for the magpie. I was sure I could feel their beady white eyes locked on me, but they were nowhere to be seen. Reluctantly, I turned back on Parsnip. He was grinning excitedly and noticed he had a picnic basket with him. What's the picnic stuff? I'm having a picnic! Would you like to come, friend? I was kind of hungry, but I felt like I should probably get on with stopping Nikita. Oh, let's hang out with Parsnip. He's crazy, we are crazy. Yeah, I guess I can hang out for a little while. Yay! Oh wow, I'm so excited! Let's go ask Rose if she would like to come too. Okay, I can't be too long though. I'm pretty busy, so I have all day picnic! He skipped up to La Rose's cottage. I started to regret agreeing to this, but followed along behind him. Okay, now I kind of like want to go back with the story and actually decline the offer. I eventually caught up to Parsnip. He was knocking on La Rose's door and bouncing excitedly. I saw La Rose peering out the window between a crack in the curtains before receding back to the darkness of her cottage. I got the impression she didn't want to be involved. I don't think La Rose home, Parsnip. Maybe we should get going. There was a loud crash from inside. Fuck's sake! Fucking easel cunt! If you're not going to stay standing up, why did you even live? I heard the distinctive sound of an easel being snapped in half. I think it was an easel being snapped in half. I'm not sure what gave me that impression. You're right, I don't think she's in. I was starting to doubt how much Parsnip existed in our plane of reality. I guess it's just you and me, friend. He pulled a friendship yarn up to his back and waved it at me. You still have yours, right? Right? I rummaged through my stuff and pulled out the yarn. It was slightly worse for wear after a few days in my bag, but Parsnip's face lit up nevertheless when I gently wiggled it. I'd never thrown away this present. Yay! Oh yay, what a great friendship! I was glad to have diffused the situation. I didn't want to get on Parsnip's bad side. He seemed slightly unstable. Let's go with our picnic! Follow me to the wheat field, friend! The wheat field wasn't a great spot given the wheat hadn't been cut. It was at least somewhat shady in between the crops. Parsnip had giggled as he trampled through the field into the picnic spot. He seemed to find running through the field of wheat strangely naughty. Though part of me thought it was David's giggling and secluded spot may just have been because I was about to be murdered. I quickly shook those thoughts off, intent on trying my best to have a nice time. Parsnip started to unpack his picnic hamper. I have to admit, I was slightly dreading what he might pull out. To my surprise, what he did get out was really good. A tray of cupcakes, each decorated with different colored icing and sprinkles. A few even had chocolate chips and flakes in them. Things were looking up. He got a pitcher of water out of his basket. Somehow it hadn't spilled inside despite being sideways and having no lid, possibly defying the laws of physics. You know what, I'm gonna just save it here, just in case we have to go back and decline the picnic offer, you know? He poured the water into a pair of plastic cups and handed me a red one. I thanked him and took a sip. The water was surprisingly nice and very cold. I thought this might turn out to be nice after all. I thought I'd soon come to regret. At this point, Parsnip got a bag of sugar daddy icing sugar out of his hamper and poured a good 100 grams into his cup. The sugar partially dissolved in the water, but most of it settled at the bottom of the cup. I grimaced at the thought of drinking it. Would you like some sugar? No, that's okay, Parsnip, thanks for the offer. Then try some cake! I looked at the cupcakes. There were about 10 on a shared plate. They had different color icing and decorations. They looked pretty nice, if a little sickly. That said, something about them felt off. We are not eating anything that Parsnip has to offer. No, we are not going that road. Oh no, I just realized I have a disease, I can't eat food. Oh no, when I'm sick, I just eat more sugar. It's a natural remedy. Sorry, but I have food disease. If I eat food, I die. It's just one of those things. Oh no, maybe when you get better from dying, you can try some. Parsnip was more dense than I realized. I'll keep that in mind, Parsnip. Maybe I'll have some in the future. Haha, yeah, you can watch me eat. Oh jeez, I thought. I watched Parsnip start to nibble tiny bits off the other cakes and then put them back on the shared plate. He didn't seem to have taken in anything I had said. He would cycle through the cakes, eating only little bits of each at a time. Occasionally, he would take a sip of sugar water by clumsily holding a plastic cup between his big paws, usually spilling some of the sticky water on himself. He didn't seem to mind. I watched Parsnip nibble on his food in silence until he finished, at which point he fell over backwards asleep. Good night, Parsnip? Something was bothering me about Parsnip. Something, like everything maybe. He felt fundamentally wrong. I looked down Parsnip once more. The rabbit's strange mannerism and aura filled me with discomfort. I remember when I first met Parsnip, he had appeared from nowhere, as if summoned to me from the void. Okay, so he's from the other side of the world, right? I had asked him about the king in yellow. There had been no denial, merely a gleeful cry of, "Wow, I love yellow. Oh, wow, it's my favorite color." I broke out into a sweat. A confession. I knew it. I'd been being toyed with all along. That cursed string Parsnip had given me all those days ago. I pulled out of my bag and threaded it through itself into an intricate but a familiar shape. A yellow sign. It was a gift from the king, or perhaps a warning or a curse. I shuddered in fear and quickly pushed the terrible sign back into my bag. So, is the Parsnip the king in yellow? That's interesting. I would have to think about this further. I buried the thoughts in my mind. I snuck away, only to run straight into La Rose. Ah! Fuck, how long have you been there? Whined the dog. It was an incredibly ominous conversation starter. Okay, here. I peered down the snoozing Parsnip. Judging by his sniffing nose and munching noise, he was dreaming about food. My place. She started walking off. It sounded serious. Yeah, let's go with La Rose. Sure, I mean, we already had picnic with Parsnip, so... I silently followed Rose to her cottage. Things felt really intense. Did she know that I knew about Parsnip? So, Parsnip has given one of those strings to them? How long has she been watching us? Wait, what, is that what it is about? Kind of. There was a long silence when my brain tried to process things. It just seemed pretty intense. I was kind of worried. I mean, well, it is important. A bit. The yarn? Do you have one as well? I have at least 20. When I woke up this morning, there were 3 poking through my letterbox. I was concerned for her. To receive one of the cursed gifts from the King in Yellow was bad enough, but 20? La Rose seemed to live in a blissful ignorance of the true evil at last. I decided I was kinder to let her stay that way. I'm considering using them to make a makeshift noose. Haha! Wait, was that a joke? Sure. So far, all I've been able to do is hoover them up and burn the bags. Like my students, Parsnip is not receptive of criticism. So anyway, I want to ask for your help. I really need to get rid of Parsnip. So I was wondering, are you trying to get me kill Parsnip? He's weird, sure, but that's a little much, don't you think? What? No, don't be ridiculous, no. I was just going to ask if you'd, I don't know, throw him in a bush and tell him to leave me alone? I stared at La Rose, slightly dumbfounded. You want me to assault him? What? I continued to stare at her, dumbfounded. Not badly, You've spoken to him, right? Just push him to a bush really carefully and be like, hey, leave Rose alone or the boys will get you. And that should be enough to spook him. Are you okay? I'm fine. Look, living next door to Parsnip is slowly killing me. I used to drink 30, maybe 40 units of alcohol a day, now I'm up to maybe 60. Look, will you just give it a go? I can't live with this much longer. I'm not going to throw Parsnip. I don't have enough time for that. I wanted to have some wine with her and talk to her, but come on, it's just like too much work. Sorry, little Rose, but I'm going to push your neighbor into a bush. He'll get bored soon, I'm sure. Well, I'm disappointed. She sighed. Well, thanks anyway. I better get painting. I'll see you around. I felt a little bad abandoning little Rose to her fate, but pushing Parsnip over seemed like too mean, even for my morally bankrupt self. Or perhaps I feared him. I was still trying to process his connection to Carcosa, to the King in Yellow. I decided I'd been fucking around for too long and reluctantly got on with my business. So either the Parsnip is the King in Yellow, or we just went crazy, just cuckoo, and this is why we are seeing things that are not there, right? I stood in front of the abandoned cottage, the gateway to Carcosa, according to Nikita at least. I didn't trust myself enough to truly doubt her. I needed to make sure Nikita hadn't done anything here. This cottage might be the only place I could stop her. The upstairs seemed pretty much as I left it. I knew I was going to have to go downstairs. Not a fun thought. Memories of my last visit still swam in my mind fast. It was time to accept my fate and return to the basement, where this all started. The skulls sat in the same position as before. I almost started to believe I really had imagined them speaking to me. But before I could step any further into the room, they snapped around to face me, and my heart sank as I realized returning there was a mistake. Well, you do also have another crystal, like one crystal can open the portal and two will dualify themselves. You have one on yourself, so... Well... Another guest, the little rat returns. Hello, friend. I was frozen. I was frozen, whether by shock or by the ghost design, I don't know. Please, I'm not here to bother you. Your friend, yes. The deer was here, searching for a gate she found, already present, the yellow sign, creatory I am. Forever never to be removed, no matter how much I tear at this pain. The gate is present, it only needs a key. No more preparations are needed, only the moonlight of a full moon. If what the deer says is true, a believable claim, for I too require tonight's white light, reunite, broken body no more. If the deer speaks true, then endless, ashen terrors crawling forth from the lake. The rapt pointed fingers of the king leading them. The decay will spread, the rot. Then it was too late to prevent Nikita performing her ritual. It would be up to me in person, a battle I would probably lose. I spent a lot of time studying the moon. I was pretty important to a lot of myths, especially around here. I knew very well that the next full moon was tomorrow. Okay, well, that's all I need to know, so I'll just be out of your scalp bone. I started to run from the basement, but leave not, little white rat. I stopped in my tracks, and not by choice. A golden glow clung to my body, holding me totally still. Moonbeam, Heidi, Trixie, Glimmer, Smith, all one. You will return what she stole. My blood froze. This ghost knew about me and Heidi? It knew about Moonbeam? I had dropped it. I remembered that night in the alley, the golden eyes of the matted figure. I remembered the glint of recognition when the figure had laid eyes on my face. You? The grimoire, the shop, return there, finish our deal, or the henna will perish. The skulls shattered into dust. Any evidence of their existence turned to fine bone powder to join the spores and dust in their toxic dance. I was thrown to the ground as the gold mist floated out of the basement like snow in a breeze. I climbed to my feet, my head ringing. I must have hit it when I fell. I made my way outside and caught my breath. There was no time for anything else. Right now I had to help Heidi. I tried to phone her, but there was no answer. It looked like I was going to have to run all the way to town. The windows for Heidi's shop were blinded and its sign read closed. Someone didn't want intruders. My heart dropped. Was I too late? Summoning all my courage, I burst inside. Heidi! Oh shit! I was too late. Heidi has been pinned to the spot, and her weapons were discarded on the floor. The shop gently shook with the same force that had infested the abandoned cottage on Daffodil Lane. It looked like the boxes from the office had been pulled into the shop. Items were thrown from them as if the ghost was searching for something. On the floor lay the lifeless matted figure, their bodies still hidden beneath their thick cloak. "Trixie, get out of here!" The white one arrives, the pale rat. "Thank you, friend. Placate your associate and aid me, and all shall be fine." I was terrified. This had gotten out of hand. "Heidi, calm down. They need our help, and they leave us alone. They promised." I wasn't sure if I believed them, but it was my only way out. "Please, put her down. She'll behave. Right, Heidi?" I gulped. She looked pissed. "Fine." "Very well. Behave, little hyena." Heidi dropped to the floor as the golden glow pulled away from her. Her bat and taser lifted into the air as if yanked up on strings. Heidi's weapons were thrown into the air, the bat splintered, scattering shards of wood across the shop, and the taser seemingly imploded and fell to the floor with a dull thud. "The deal, rat, the book, stolen by you. The book, the spell, the body, reunite." The voice boomed into my head. I don't know what you mean." "The book I sent you out with the other night, the one you didn't give them. It's some old spell book, supposedly written by the Salt Sisters. It's one of the boxes." "Oh, Heidi, you just stay there and I'll find it." I rummaged through one of the boxes. There were a lot of books, but none seemed to be by Salt Sisters. I could feel the invisible eyes of the ghostly entity burn to me like hot coals as I fumbled through the junk. "Hurry, do not waste time, rat." "Look, I'm trying, okay? Heidi, you didn't really organize this stuff well." "That's because I was going to burn it." "Sorry, I'm ahead of help right now is all. Not really the time for you to be bitching about my organization, missy." "Do not bicker, the mask, find it, small rat." "Small white rat? I don't even know what it looks like." "It's black and old." Fortunately, there was only one book in amongst the scattered artifacts that fit the description. "Oh, okay, here it is." My fingers trembled as I picked up the book. The Grimoire of the Salt Sisters. It looked old enough to be the original and radiated malevolence from the scrambling pages. Yes, the book, the forbidden words, the sisters, the body reunite. I don't know what it is you want. The book is so long, and before I could finish, the golden mist of the ghost plucked the book from my hands and flicked through the pages impossibly fast. The pages stopped turning. The voice boomed louder than before. "The spell, cast the body. Do it now, do it now." The shop seemed to shake with each word. A cyber-drug cool Yaplushi burst in a shower of wool and lead. The sound of cans imploding boomed from inside the vending machines. "Speak it now, speak it now, speak it now, speak it now." The voice repeated in my head, drumming the orders into me as my mind began to cloud once more. The page seemed to list the words to some terrible spell. I dare not write them there. I read them out loud, trying as hard as I could not understand what I said. With each word my mind ached. Stories always talk about the price for performing magic, and I could see now it was no lie. I can only hope my actions that day do not cost me my soul, if indeed I still have one. As the last words of the spell left my lips, the shop began to violently shake. "Trixie, get back!" Heidi pulled me to her, and we ducked behind the shop counter. I could see in her eyes that after hearing the dark spell from me, Heidi felt afraid of me, even if she hid it. The room pulsed with golden light. I shut my eyes, but it was not enough to keep the gold from seeping in. Whispers filled my mind, the regal speech of Carcosa, descriptions of a forgotten era, and inklings of forbidden knowledge. Threats against a nameless enemy, fear, the matted figure's tormented mind. Then, as suddenly as the process had begun, it was over. The room was silent, the golden light was absent. Is it over? I look, stay still. I was glad Heidi had volunteered. I dreaded to think what we might see. Heidi didn't say anything. Whether that was good or bad, I wasn't sure, but decided to look. In the center of the room, standing with their own muscles and smiling at us, with a wicked grin stood the matted figure. "Oh, my friends, you have been most useful. The bargain is complete." The figure began to leave the shop, walking clumsily on their weak legs. "Oh, and you aren't coming back?" The figure paused, their back to us. They looked over the shoulder, straight into Heidi's eyes. "You have my word." Before either of us could respond, the figure stumbled out of the shop. Heidi sighed, and patted me on the shoulder. You okay, Trixie? I wasn't. I knew that walked underneath the cloth. Even imagining it was enough to make me shiver. To look upon the warped face of a she was an awful thought. How could such a creature have come to exist? And yet I knew it was as natural as I, which begged the question, why were no other sheep like it? I shook the thoughts from my head. I just wanted it to be over. Yeah, I'm fine. Heidi looked at the mess of books, amulets, and other tab thrown across the room with a sigh. That was a week of organizing down the drain. So, I guess I need to clean this up. It's all kind of lost its charm now that some of it is actually evil incarnate. You okay to help me? We can burn it. I checked the time. It would be a little bit longer till the moon was out. I can help for a bit, sure. I don't really fancy going outside yet anyway. I'd rather give that person more time to get as far away as possible. For sure, come on. Let's get the stuff packed up and flammable. We started rooting through the mess. It was a lot easier to sort through now. They all just went straight into the burning box. Sorry for ruining everything for you, Heidi. I fucked up pretty badly. Hey now, it's not your fault. I shouldn't have gotten you involved in this weird stuff. Heck, I should have gotten myself involved in this weird stuff. I think it's time I go straight laced and start running up the shop properly. Really? Heidi thought for a moment. Nah. I'll probably just sell it and get a job as a bouncer. A really violent bouncer. I wasn't sure if she was joking or not. How do you fancy free entry to whatever club I work at? I think I will pass on that. Thanks though. What about your Moonbeam stuff? Will you keep it that for Dungeons and Functions games? She picked the mask of Delilah Moonbeam up off the floor. Oh heck, I can't burn this. It's kinda special to me. She started packing it away to the key box. Hey, Heidi. I know it's a big ask after all my fuck-ups, but do you think I could maybe have the mask? Heidi looked at the mask. Sure, Trixie, it's a present, okay? To make up for all the times I yell at you and stuff. You can wear it to your graduation, totally prank everyone. We fixed up the shop for a while. It was a real mess. At some point I realized everything that had happened had made me completely forget Nikita. I glanced out the window. The full moon hung low in the sky. I knew Nikita would be heading to Daffodil Lane soon. Maybe she was already there? I felt bad leaving Heidi, and if it wasn't for the pit in my stomach I got when I imagined Nikita intentionally or not realizing the horrors of her crossing into our world, I would have gladly stayed. Hey Heidi, I have to go to do something. Will you be okay here by yourself? Huh? You need to do something? At midnight? After what we just saw? What's that important? Is everything okay, Trixie? Yes, it's fine, it's just something important. I need to help my friend, she's in trouble as all. Yeah, I mean, you help me, right? Maybe I can help you help them. I want to say yes. With Heidi there, maybe I could stop Nikita. And yet I couldn't let myself be weak and bring her along. I couldn't be a coward and drag Heidi into something worse than what she already had experienced because of me. No. This was something I had to do alone. No, Heidi. It's okay. It's nothing serious. It's just a private thing, you know? You need stuff, yeah? Nothing I can do? Well, a lift to Daffodil Lane might be nice. The lane was quiet. It looked like Nikita hadn't opened the gate. Yet, at least. Here good? Totally. Thank you, Heidi. And thank you for being my friend and stuff. Despite everything that happened, I really liked hanging out with you. Yeah, it's been fun. But hey, it's not like you're going anywhere. I'll see you tomorrow, right? I wasn't sure. I'm sure. You should get to bed, whatever you do at night, and I'll be okay here. I just gotta go help my friend. Yeah? I'll see you tomorrow then, bud. You have a good night, okay, Trixie? See ya, Heidi. I waved her off as the motorcycle sped back towards town. I hoped this wouldn't be the last time I saw her. I walked down Daffodil Lane towards an abandoned cottage. It must have been about 1 or 2 in the morning. I feared I was too late, but there didn't seem to be any sign that Nikita had been successful. I walked past Parsnip's cottage. It was quiet. He was probably tucked up in bed asleep, or whatever he does at night. Of course, I knew his secret. Parsnip was corrupted, a puppet of the king in yellow. I knew that if I could stop Nikita, destroy that evil play, and the terrible yellow signs he had forced that rabbit to create, Parsnip would be free from his enslavement. I could save him. The abandoned cottage seemed unchanged. Could it be that Nikita hadn't come? My hopes were shattered when I stepped inside. I could hear murmuring from the basement. Nikita was here, surrounded by candles. She stood up upon the yellow sign. She faced away from me, chanting to herself. I think she was trying to repeat some kind of incantation, but she kept tripping up on her words and losing her place. A small crystal sat in the center of the yellow sun, shimmering faintly in the candlelight. I had to talk her out of this madness. I knew I was too weak to fight her after the nights even so far, and I'm pretty sure Nikita is more violent than she looks. Nikita? Oh, Trixie. I'm surprised you dared show your furry little face here. I seem you'd be in your room, drawing bad hentai or something. I have to say, I'm impressed. I almost admire your dedication to annoying me. But you're too late. The ritual is in progress. I walk across the cloud waves to my destiny. Right now, you just kind of stood there. Okay, but soon I shall walk across the cloud waves to my destiny. It's not like you're going to stop me. By all means, stay and watch my ascension, or fuck off, I don't care. I just need to wait a little longer, is all. Was Nikita wrong? She seemed confused somehow. Her ritual didn't seem to be going to plan. The candles had almost melted on their bases. How long had she been there? Nikita, stop. The ritual isn't working, you won't get through the gate. How about you come back to uni with me and we can talk this out? No! I will not forfeit my birthright because of your little lies. I will succeed. It's just taken a little longer than it should. I need to prove the king. I need to show him my faith has not faltered. The one who sits in the broken throne cannot be weak. They cannot be unsure. Maybe I made a mistake. The candle placement must be wrong, or maybe my pronunciation is off. She started flicking through her notepad, desperation building on her face. I was starting to doubt Nikita. I had expected her to summon up a portal of shimmering cloud and step through to her destiny. Instead, she just seemed utterly broken, deranged. Maybe you're wrong? About the ritual? About the throne? About that play? Trixie, shut up! I know what's wrong. The one external variable. It's you. This is a test. I must prove myself. My loyalty. Well, I will not break. I swear to you, my king, from upon the broken throne I shall call forth the dread fleet, the ashen horrors of the twilight quarter, and the iron watchmen. I shall set them on Trixie and crush her. And now, my king, will you bring me the white gate? She was serious. The malevolence of her voice was enough to kill any doubt I had that these were the words of a mad woman. Nikita had to be stopped. This ritual could not be completed. I remembered the things I'd brought with me. They might be the only way to end this without a fight, which I was pretty sure I'd lose, or with Nikita winning, which I'm pretty sure would end with me dead. Sorry, Nikita, but it's too late. I know I haven't been chosen. I tried to sound at least somewhat sure of myself. Nikita looks pissed. That's real cute, Trixie. You finally learned to stand up for yourself. But surely you realize the smart move was to know your place and be my underlining. I think I'm okay with that, actually. I was gifted with something you were not. I held the yellow sign high above my head. Nikita smirked. Really, Trixie? The yellow sign? Look around you. She lifted her arms and spun on the spot. The world is covered in the sign. The king is everywhere. He owns us. She was right. He was everywhere. But I didn't let it dissuade me. And he chose me. And yet his servant gave me this, before you had even read his play. You were never graced with his sign. You just found those left for others. Nikita looked almost taken aback. He chose me, Nikita. No, he cursed you with... Maybe she was right. I certainly wasn't happy to have received the yellow sign. But I could see Nikita was cracking somewhat. Now shut up and travel in your pathetic little boots as I complete my ritual. Nikita threw her arms into the air. Nothing happened. Gah! I might know why your portal isn't opening. I pulled Tabby's psycho crystal from my bag. It shimmered with ancient magic. Nikita's crystal was nullified. What? Under crystal? Is this a trick? What are you playing at, Smith? Two psychic crystals in close proximity. Well, they neutralize each other, right? You didn't know that? No. This is a trick. You're trying to trick me, Trixie. I won't fall for your Trixie tricks. I won't fall for it. She stopped abruptly. She knew I was telling the truth. I guess I have an honest face. No. How did you? Oh, you obviously didn't read, reading your words very carefully. I expected better of you, Nikita. I smirked. A sight which I was worried would make Nikita attack me right then and there. Her two least favorite things, being wrong and me. Fuck! Nikita stomped her foot onto one of the candles, crushing it. She was getting dangerously angry. So, Miss Knight is in league with you too? How am I surprised? She will get what's coming to her. This is my destiny, Trixie. It was foretold. She lifted the king in yellow above her head dramatically. Your crystal is powerless against him. He chose me, Trixie, above everyone else. Crystal or not, the gate will open. And you will pay for your treachery. I'm sorry, Nikita, but I'm not sure the king has chosen you. I pulled the mask out of my back and held it aloft for Nikita to see. You've been betrayed, Nikita. The king chose me. The mask had come to me indirectly, but that didn't make it any less my right, even if I didn't want it. Nikita laughed at me. She didn't seem convinced. Then a brief flutter in her expression as her eyes focused on the grim visage. In that moment, I knew she recognized the mask. Oh, great king, this can't be. Smith, how did you? Her face broke into a blend of fear and betrayal. I was lied to. She fell to her knees. Tears streamed between her fingers. And are you forgetting, Nikita? It was me who was given the play. You had to beg me to give it to you. Trixie, you were the one he chose. None of his whispers were true. He played me like an instrument. Like Carcosa, I have been shamed, my vanity taken and crushed. Trixie, She broke down into tears. Despite everything, I pitied her. Finish the ritual. Take your place atop the broken throne. But show me mercy, I beg of you. I'm not taking the throne, Nikita. I don't want it. And I think deep down neither do you. Let's just go back and get some rest. We can pretend this never happened. Obviously, that wouldn't happen, but I wanted to keep her calm. It looked like this terrible week was finally coming to a close. But She pointed meekly at the mask. I looked down at it. Its ruby eyes seemed to glow, a promise of a decadence and power beyond the white gate. Inlaid symbols speaking unknowingly secrets into my mind. For a moment, I considered that maybe this truly was my destiny. Was this mask always meant to fall into my hands? I shook my head. That wasn't a path I was willing to take. I wanted nothing to do with Carcosa and the false promises of the king in yellow. We can destroy it. The play too. It's all evil, Nikita. Just look what it's done to us. Let's go back to Uni, okay? Uni. Yes, okay, Trixie. And then we saved the day, I guess. Oh, now we have like a lots of scribbles everywhere. Like, everywhere. I slept well that night. Me and Nikita intend to burn the king in yellow. As soon as I finished writing this statement, when I suggested torching the play, I was worried she might snap back into her mania and try to stop me. But she had nothing to say. It was like being outsmarted had totally crushed any desire Nikita had to keep up her mad charade. I'm pretty sure she'll be back to her old self once the election comes along, for better or for worse. Still, she seems to have developed some small amount of modesty, and I swear I can see a hint of respect for me in her eyes. Which I'm not entirely sure I like, it's uncanny. I've managed to keep Nikita distracted for election work. I told her not to write my report, I want to do it myself. Hence why I'd appreciate some more time to finish it. So the whole game is just the excuse why we didn't hand it in the report, right? Pretty nice. I've been swatting up the worried calls from Heidi for the last 2 days. I think she knows something is up, but as soon as I submit this form, I'm going to meet up with her. I shall not speak to her of King in Yellow. That's a secret between me, Nikita, and you. I still need to talk to her about our experience in the with the matted figure. I have so many questions about that night, about the matted figure, about sheep, about all Ward's forgotten past. When I remembered the knowing plot smirk that Cruel Figure gave us before it left the shop, my heart fills with a dread, matched only by one thing. What I read inside the King in Yellow. Despite everything, I have to admit there is still a temptation to open it, to finish reading The King in Yellow. The end. So, that was the game, that was the testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith. I'm wondering, what did you think about it? I was kind of really hoping that the things will escalate, that either gonna have like a proof that we went totally crazy, or that the portal would open. Maybe I did something wrong. But it would be nice to have some more interesting ending. Or maybe there's a second one. Let's continue. Great, I'm done. I just need to take this down to the office and I can start work. Trixie, show me your statement immediately. I just realized I'm relying on you not to get me expelled with whatever you wrote on this thing. Jeez, Nikita, how did you get in there? The door, Trixie. Wait, what is it? Why are your walls covered in writing? I hadn't noticed that. Excuse me, but what the fuck? Whatever, Trixie. Either you've lost the plot or this is one of those May-Mays you liked I just don't get. Also, the word limit on the form is like 300. This? Look, Trixie, I respect that you've actually put some effort into something for once in your life, but as well as being written on the walls, this is way too long. What a waste of time. You can clean it up and I'll write you less shit statement. One that will actually get read and not get us arrested in the process, because no way have you held back from talking shit about me. I just say you had trouble working this week because your albinism made working during the heat was difficult. There, save you 50,000 words. Oh, okay, Nikita. Well, time to get to work. Just as soon as I finish reading the new Cyberdrag Cool Yeah reboot theories online. And again, even the ending after ending was a bit of a letdown. The whole story, like writing the report, explaining like why we did not finish our coursework, it's a pretty interesting concept, but I feel it was like really lacking something. There was a great mystery that remained unresolved, like was there anything there actually? And what's with the Parsnip? What's with the play? Like there's like so many loose ends that I feel like I'm not satisfied with this kind of ending. Maybe just a matter of my choices. Maybe if I hadn't had the mask, or I rejected Parsnip's bracelet at the very beginning, or did something different, maybe the ending would be like much more interesting. But I don't know. I might have given it like another go, or even just a play from the middle of the game, just to check if you can, instead of spending the time with Heidi, you can choose different route, so to discover other endings. But yeah, that's for me. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this game, and see you in the next gameplay. Take care, bye bye.